Fred Free Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti from the 78 Cannes Film Festival. I'm with Julia Ducornau, director of Alpha, screening here in competition. So Julia, would you say that this is also coming of age as Alpha has to find a way to emancipate, first of all, from her mother? I mean, her mother says at some point, if something happens to you, it happens to me. So what do you think?
You know, I love that you're quoting this line because I think it's the entire paradox of the daughter-mother relationship, because it's at the same time extremely self-sacrificial. It's exactly what you expect from a mother, all right. But at the same time, how do you emancipate from that? Because it also means that you're going to stay in fusion all the time. So it makes it extremely hard on my character to not be a baby at this moment, to get out of her baby state when you hear something like this, which I believe, I mean, I'm not a mother, but I believe that that's what motherhood is. Like anything happens to your child, you feel it completely. But at the same time, it does make it difficult for your child, because my point of view is the child's point of view, obviously. It makes it extremely difficult to tear away from this symbiotic fusion that is this bond. And it's way more difficult, I think, than emancipating from the paternal figure, where you're seeking for a validation, and when you realize that you actually don't need that validation, it's a relief. You can be yourself, but when we're talking about tearing away from a symbiotic bond where you come from, it's not about being yourself, it's about reinventing yourself after you have emancipated. That's hard.
In your press notes, you talk about the theme of the ongoing mutation. So, and you said that it's something that begins before the starting of the film and it continues right after the film is over. So would you tell me more about that and about this idea of this marble virus that I found beautiful in a way and shocking? So I wanted to know if that was intentional.
Wait, I'm going to start with just the beginning with the mutation. The thing with the mutation, well, when I was saying this about my character, that they started before and they probably keep on going afterwards, is because I see life like this. For me, death for me is a final, it's the final stage. To me, there is nothing afterwards, it stops. The mutation stops. But during your entire life, you don't need to be one. You can be as many better versions of yourself as you can. You can keep reinventing yourself as much as you can, and that's what I call the mutation. And I actually think that you owe it to yourself to do that, And so, especially because I think afterwards there is nothing, that you should actually, live your fullest cycles, which makes me, in a way more optimistic than people think I am, because I really truly believe in that. So that's with the mutation part, talking about like the before and after. But as far as the mobile transformation is concerned, I think I understand very much the two choice of your, I think you said beautiful and shocking, right? So I understand why you say shocking, although it was not my intent, but I understand why you say that. Basically, the idea to start with was to make the people who are infected by the disease in my film, I wanted to not only make them beautiful, but to implement sacred in them. So that's why I thought about the recumbering effigies of the saints and kings, that you find marbles in cathedrals and stuff like this. I wanted to make them eternal, because when you grieve someone, you're going to grieve that person your entire life. It's not temporary. So they're going to stay with us until, the end. And if you talk about them to the next generation, they're going to stay with the next generation, and so on. But this is only possible if you have been able to grieve, right? So that's the whole thing. Because if you can't grieve, then you go into transferring of traumas on over the next generation, and that's terrible, and that's what the film is about. But the thing with I understand why you say shocking, not because I wanted, I don't care for shock value at all, but because it is absolutely uncanny what I'm showing. This is the coexistence of life and death in one person that is talking, that is walking, that has feelings. And yet you can tell, because basically stone, it's a material that doesn't mutate. It's a material that's dead. Compared to the metal in Titan, metal can be in fusion, so it can change state. Stone cannot change state, cannot become liquid, cannot become gas or anything. Stone is dead, So it's this cohabitation within one character, whether it's Amin or the English teacher's partner or whatever, that is uncanny and abnormal. But at the same time, to me, it was the best way, I think, to emotionally get close to our fear of death.
And I would like to thank Julia Ducornau, director of Alpha, screening at the 78th Cannes Film Festival in competition. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.